morning, Breakfast Clubbers!
Good morning!
All right. Last month or the month before, I can't remember which one it was, we forgot to sing.
Yeah!
Let us take a look. Anybody got a favorite?
How about In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida?
Thank you. I played the whole thing on a radio show one time.
Very good, very good.
Good. It's a good time to get acquainted. It's a good time to know who is standing close beside you and to smile and say hello. Goodbye, that lonesome feeling. Goodbye, glassy stare. Here's my hand, my name is blah, 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 blah. Put your hand right there. All right, that's good enough. We don't need to do a second. All right. They're going to turn down the air conditioning because I know I'm going to get all preacher-fied hot here. So. All right. Let me go ahead and... how many of you are new to the Breakfast Club? No, a few. Oh, you lied. You been here before? No? Really? It's good to see you, man. Okay, what we're going to do... Is Donna in? Oh, there she is. Damn it, I was going to lie. Okay. The first Saturday of each month, the Breakfast Club. The first Friday of each month is the publication of the e-zine, of our digital magazine. This is the 23rd edition. Next month will be the 24th, 2 full years of the Freedom's Phoenix Con. Man, we got it, down. Can somebody close that back door? I got that white freaking van is killing me. Yeah. What we'll go ahead and do, I want to tell you, for the benefit of some of the new guys, because we have some presentations we're going to do today. Now, Tom Morrissey, is that it? Okay. Tom Morrissey is immediate past chairman of the Republican Party. Boo, hiss, yay, claps, on whatnot. Okay, so what we're going to do is he wants 15 minutes to address about, I have no idea what, so we're rolling the dice on this one. Then we have Eddie Garcia is going to be talking about some stuff going on in Mesa.
Yeah.
And it kind of relates, and I'm going to go ahead and try and weave it together and give you an idea of what's going on. A couple of events. One, Silver Circle movie. This has been, I met these, let me tell you the story. It was Liberty Forum that they put on every year as kind of the winter version of Pork Fest in New Hampshire, the Free State Project thing. Liberty Forum is like, have a lot of great speakers. You go and we'll present whatever, and you have a vendor table and hundreds of people come. It's kind of like a Freedom Summit. But, oh yeah, by the way, mark this. Freedom Summit, February 14th to 16th, 2014. We're going to do another Freedom Summit. It'll be like our, 10th, 11th or something. And it's going to be, I'll tell you about it, but it's President's Day weekend, and it's going to be a rock and roller, and I'll tell you all about it. Liberty Forum is the kind of the nice hotel version of Pork Fest, okay? Which is the nice camping out in the Lone Prairie version of, somebody please keep that. I mean, it really isn't right on me. Everybody's silhouetted. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and, yeah, just the left one. The right one doesn't matter as much. Yeah, that one's fine. It's that white van just like blinding me. So Liberty Forum had like Judge Napolitano and Bumper Hornberger and Tom Woods and so on. Napolitano out there, and you have a lot of these conservatives and so on. I mean, they came in Ron Paul thing, but you got Judge Napolitano up there going on about how Abraham Lincoln was the American Lenin. Okay, and what a scumbag he was, and they get out there saying and start sawing their wrists and stuff. So, a lot of people don't know the real history like a lot of libertarians do. And if you are a 13 to 23-year-old with the council, Generation Next has been, Tom I'm sure can address to this, or at least answer this, is that Generation Next, the Republicans, they always wanted, where's the youth? We need to get the youth in so they can be the Indians to all the chiefs telling them what to do. They came in, they won't do what we tell them. Damn it, we don't want them anymore. We just needed labor. We don't want them to think or anything, So I'm going, these guys have just gone flat. And there's a lot of people that are still in the party working, trying to, but I'm telling you, I don't deal with those people. I help a lot of you guys. We know we promote whatever you guys are doing and kind of in peace and get that your say. But I tell you what the future is. It's Generation Next, and these guys, they have nothing to do with the initiation of their kind of force. There isn't. They're for voluntarist leave me aloneism, okay? And if the party can represent that, or they give an opportunity for them to exercise, their free expression in support of blah, 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 fine. If not, after a while, that's why you guys, you never understood this, I'm sure. From us libertarian activists, it would be like this. What's the difference between an anarchist and a libertarian? 2 or 3 election cycles if you're paying attention, okay? Well, these guys are paying attention, and they're starting to see that the political machine is corrupt, it is not consistent, and it no longer provides an avenue for a lot of things, except maybe at the local level. So that level is where a lot of the big, giant whatever is going on is focusing down. They get down to the city level, the county level, the state level, to where they want to give jurisdiction for a multi-international, we rule you kind of whatever. We got a piece of paper that says so right here. Okay? Well, we're going to talk about Agenda 21 and how that's used and self-sustainability, and you'll hear the comprehensive plan and all this kind of stuff. The reason is because when libertarians would run for office and so on, it goes like this. The Democrat gets up, my plan is, I got a plan, we're going to rule you through my plan and vote for my plan. So they get up to the Republican, oh no, his plan's, screwed up like polio, and you don't want his plan, and I got a better plan, I got a Republican plan. Okay? Libertarian, well, what's your plan? I don't know, for you to have your own plan. What? I'm deer in headlight look, man. I'm like, I need somebody to tell me what to do. I don't have a plan. I never thought of having a plan. I don't know what my plan might be. Don't you have his plan? No. Let me tell you what my plan is. My plan, you get to have your plan. Whatever that is. As long as it doesn't mess with my plan, I don't care. In fact, that was the promise of government. That the whole purpose of government, defense of individual rights, defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I get to have my own plan, and nobody gets to come in my plan, essentially plan my plan. Okay? It doesn't even occur to people my age and older. Doesn't even cross their freaking radar. I, a long time ago, as a young activist, blew that all off a long time ago. The Lovolution was about catering to a generation, to my children and my grandchildren now, for them to understand, freedom good, government usually not. Okay? So this is, I'm not against government. I'm against coercive government. But nobody's come to me with a government that isn't coercive. Well, if somebody's had to make them do it, well, then what use of it is there for it? That's kind of my point, So this is Silver Circle coming up. The movie is the 11th. They rented the Pollock Tempe Cinemas, which is, here in Tempe. And what they're doing, 3 years ago when I went to the Liberty Forum, I met Pasha, the filmmaker. Now, he did a lot of corporate stuff and animations for court cases and, kind of Hollywood, kind of whatever. And he got the freedom bug. 3 years ago, he started making this film, and it's just now being released across the country. Now, of course, it's not going to be picked up by the big whatevers. Hell no. But what it's about, what's the premise? The Federal Reserve has taken over all housing, and they're doing yada, 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 and then you have the rebels, defending against that, and they start minting their own silver circles. They're silver, medallion, whatever, and they just bypass the whole economy by starting to trade in silver. And what the government thinks about that, and they don't like it none too much, okay? Now, what was amazing to me is I'm going, why would they have the Federal Reserve? It's like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all the, Obama's your landlord now. And, how did all of that get moved in on the Federal Reserve balance sheet? How did they, and they predicted this 3 years ago. That's exactly what's going on now. All this debt and toxic waste and everything just get moved over onto the balance sheet of, I'm going, oh, did they call this or what? So, this movie is not so much about, it's not just a movie, it is a movement. They have all their paraphernalia. Ron Paul is up there when he was talking to Bernanke. What we need is, real money, and he's holding up this, and the people that made the movie, they go, man, wouldn't that have been cool if that was a silver circle? Russia Today gets a frame of it, puts it up. It was a silver circle. Ron Paul's holding it up going, hello. So they went, oh, that's good, good. So this is the silver thing. We have an app on our Android smartphones. You just go in your Play thing, download app, Silver Calculator. You know exactly what the price of silver is right then. You know exactly what it's worth as a tenth of a dime, which is 90% silver pre-64. 64 and earlier, all U.S. coins were 90% silver. So they know this. They're trading in this. It has become an underground economy. And that doesn't even count Bitcoin. You know, I'm not, you know, Bitcoin has got, when I first bought my first Bitcoins, I think they were like $4 to $8 or something. I bought some more, about 13. What were they Friday, 150 something dollars a piece or some crap like that? I mean, it went like this. But I, you know, because I don't, you know, it took a hit because somebody playing with whatever. But, you know, I'm like, I don't understand it that much. I just soon hold on me some silver, okay? But the Federal Reserve is losing its monopoly of control on the exchange of wealth for goodies. We have been taking Bitcoin on our site for subscriptions and merchandise and everything. You know, this has been going on. We did our money lift. It was the first vending machine to be able to sell Bitcoin. All of a sudden now, what do they got? ATMs that deal in Bitcoin, and where did they go first? Cyprus. You took all my money. If I get some of my money, I get money. You guess what? I'm buying Bitcoin. I get paid Bitcoin. I don't want Cyprus or European Union. I'm putting my money in Cyprus Bank. Why? Because, oh, didn't you know if the government needs it, it's ours. Right? I mean, you guys knew that, right? You know, everybody gets all in the stock market. They socially and economically engineer your retirements and everything. And banks went, you know, it's all ours now. Then the stock market, oh, we're saved. You guys feel saved? 14,500 and something. You guys feel saved? Stock market got you saved? You guys feel saved? So they're going, now see, you guys all in again? Well, that's ours too. So, I mean, I can see it coming. Generation Next has abandoned this a long time ago. They do, their whole culture is around movies, understanding, learning, whatever. What we did is the last couple of months, we had on our, now you may remember our first issue, this girl, 23 issues ago, was the first magazine cover that we did. Is that Donna? Absolutely. And she's come back, where they're breaking out. Now where do we go? Now, the previous months, what was interesting, the articles that we had, we started off with, you know, kind of this edition was the one that, the question was, should we stay or should we go? And when I say go, I mean go. Space station orbiting Mars, mining an asteroid. I mean go, okay? So, a lot of you new guys may not know this. Elon Musk, that made his gazillions from PayPal, has his own private space race going on, along with Jeff Bezos from Amazon, and a whole bunch of other guys that are, you know, he's going to be putting 80,000 people on Mars a year, okay? They are building they built it. He's done the Dragon is what supplies the International Space Station now. Now you guys don't know, there's 2 private space stations orbiting the Earth right now, and you never even heard about it, Elise, but the young guys have. You're so far out of what's really going on if you don't know this stuff. And subscribe to Freedom's Phoenix email dispatcher. So what happens is we had a lot of participation in this, and the idea pretty much was, I mean, you should go. And the massive, overwhelming writers was stay. Now, guys, you guys heard this story about Nazi Germany and stuff, right? I mean, when do you start resisting and leaving, wanting to go? I know it's sometime before the car door slams shut. Sometime before then. I mean, how close you want to do it? I mean, I'm just, whoop, I went out my, when they came busting the door or something, or are you not afraid? Are you preparing for it another way? What's the deal? So I'm going, okay, if we were to go, where this cool thing that's they're building on oil derricks, may not be this nice, but they're building communities that go out in the ocean. Think about it. 12 miles out offshore, you're in international waters, and you're commuting with your little hovercraft to San Francisco, De La, whatever, and you get to do it faster than going on the freeway anyway. And no traffic. I mean, come on. So this group has got big giant ships and everything they're building for just this reason. They don't have to worry about immigration laws or anything anymore. They got all their 50 gazillion Pakistani Indians out there doing software and so on, and they're fine. Oh, and they get to use the ocean for the cooling of the servers. So I'm telling you, this future is barreling big tsunami coming, and while parties and politicians and politics are arguing over, who's going to be the last guy at the wheel of the Titanic as it slips beneath the waves, are wasting my time, okay? So all these guys are doing is they're just keying the Titanic as it goes under, or graffitiing it as it slips. Hopefully it dries, it gets into the water, just for giggles. You guys have no idea what's coming. You're not ready. So, what was the next month? We're going, all right, if we are going to have a community, if we are going to stay, and the last one, nobody, all right, I go, where would we go? Nobody wrote anything. We had to, solicit some, seriously, you're not going to go to grandma's basement or something? I mean, tell me something. So we had a good, backup of articles there. So we had a good issue, but it was interesting to me. It was informative. No, we're going to stay. Okay, where would we go? At the end of this month, we had the PrepperFestAZ.com. You'll see some stuff in the magazine, this month's magazine. It has an ad on it. At the last weekend of the month here in South Scottsdale, they got a big Best Buy or Circuit City or something, big box thing out there. 3 days going to be full of all just kind of prepping stuff. All right, survival, we got it. We're not going to die. All right. So we'll be there, and we'll bring the RV, and we'll have big footprint. And we're like, yeehaw, man, we're gonna live. Well, it's communications. We're starting to get radios. Don and I, we got a new newsletter thing coming, morphing this in. We'll tell you about that. But this was kind of centered on Young, Arizona. I've always remembered Young, Arizona. If you go, as the crow flies from Globe, Miami to the middle of the forest, there's this little community that has no government. There's two deputy sheriffs that kind of, what's up? Play Barney Fife or something, or get shot. So, they're good. I think they have a county library there or something. That's about it. We go and we're looking at land. Gary Burton and I went. We've gone with Renee Houlihan before. Every few years we keep pinging on this. We're looking at land. We're seeing how it's working out. And that is the kind of place that we're looking at. Lots of water. So if we had this kind of community, how would you structure yourself? Is it a big giant hippie commune? It's a libertarian utopia of somebody, we got a new government we took with our brains in our head and we kind of reconstituted somebody's in charge of me kind of thing? Is it a really fancy HOA? Or is it, hey man, it's my 2 acres, the highest walls and bunkered in, leave me aloneism, and maybe my daughter marry your daughter, whatever. So this is a totally new concept for a lot of libertarians. It's not new. We've been arguing this since forever. How many libertarians can dance on the head of the pan? I mean, that's always been the argument. But what happened is, when we start doing communities, are we going to structure them the same way that we know they don't work anyway? Are we just going to take this problem with us? We just want to be wearing the ring of power, be the ones behind the levers. Or are we just going to leave people alone? So what happened when I was talking to Young, a lot of the people, they have, no zoning and so on, you can build whatever you want. But they had this one woman, she had a little slit, a road went in, and she had one little corner there that another person wanted to buy it. They wanted to do something else. A lot of people from California coming in, we should incorporate so we can tax, so we can get sidewalks and street lights and that kind of thing. And they're going, isn't that why we came here, to get away from that? No. So they were trying to get her, she goes, you know what? No, I'm thinking of putting a there. For whatever reason, you say pig farm, everybody shuts up. I guess it's because they smell or something. There's something mess with me and I put a pig farm there. That's okay, man. Don't worry about it. So that's kind of the buzzword here. So what we wanted to depict is how would we structure ourselves? How would we go and live the life that we keep advocating? What is the structure by which we would, make sure there wasn't any structure? Okay, that we are left aloneism, that we can go in. Do you need 1 acre, quarter acre, 2 acres, 5 acres? Would you do it kind of a development thing? Or are you dealing with the state? Do we go, years ago, Barry Hess and I in 06, and I was running for Secretary of State and for governor, we went to all of the Native American reservations, well, a few of them. We go to them and start talking, we're going, look man, you're sovereign? We want what you want. How many eagles I got to kill to be part of your whatever? I mean, make me something. You can hang me up by, whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead. Give me what I got to do. I go find some relative that had a fraction of a something, and I can go and get me some land here, and we'll be sovereign, and we'll defend it. Absolutely no interest. Because the guys that are in the tribal government levels, all their goal is how much more can they get from Congress as subsidies for welfare, to food stamp, to get whatever they want. They have, it's the young. It's Sean Dean. It's these young guys that are Native Americans going, kind of the Russell Means thing, saying, hell no. So what do we hear? Russell Means dies here recently. Lakota Nations want to declare independence, sovereignty. Already gone through a lot of the process. This is already happening. It's a cultural thing. And everybody thinks it's some legal thing. No, it is not. It is an evolution. It is a wave that can't spread. And there's not a doubt in my mind, because all you guys have been around since I've been around for 20-something years, Don and I doing this, we knew this was coming. We're the young activists. I understand them perfectly, because I was them. We are now creating the society that we always wanted. So what did we do? I wanted to give the depiction of what we were really about, the new, well, it's not necessarily new, but the emphasis that we're doing on Freedom's Phoenix. It is with great ease, by just leaning on it, by just pushing it over a little bit, you can push off all of the stones in the wall, there's another brick in the wall, of crap, and reveal a future of prosperity and abundance and peace and just, it's up here. But there's always a few that want to control and be in charge of the shiny badge to tell us what we can or can't do. So we're going to start supporting all that. The only reason we go national and international and translate 39 languages of that, and we're involved in Arab Spring and Honduras and all this other stuff, is just because it's very popular what we do. But we keep trying to bring it back. It takes great effort for me to bring it back to Arizona. So that's what we're going to be doing. Because you have little pictures each stone. Like here's the Tiananmen Square guy in the tanks. Here's vaccines, Big Brother watching, Predator drones. The new armored vehicles for Department of Homeland Security, Obey from They Live. Checkpoints, missile launches, TSA groping, police state. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Big Brother launching missiles. Oh, North Korea's going to kill us. And then Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Big Brother, same thing, whatever, okay? So as we do this, I can understand what's happening because I detach myself and I can look and see. One of the things is that it was Arizona, it was mid-90s sometime. Guy came and gave a presentation at the Elks Club. There was a couple hundred people there. You guys remember when we used to do the Elks Club? They go, what happened to the Breakfast Club? Well, it was technology. You don't need to go, man. It used to be, you didn't go to Breakfast Club, you didn't know what the heck was going on. But now with the internet, okay, now I know what's going on. I'm done. Sometimes it's nice to meet with people and we get to learn some behind the scenes before it makes headline kind of stuff. We can do that here. But there was a guy that came and he spoke and he made the phrase I'd first heard watermelon thing, green on the outside, red on the inside. And he said environmentalism is the new socialist flagship. And he told me something that I didn't know. Now I used to share it on the radio program a lot. Is when it comes up. When the Soviet Union fell, Mikhail Gorbachev started a thing called Green Cross, as part of the UN. And he got an office right when they privatized the Presidio, and he got an office at the Presidio. Green Cross, look it up. Green Cross. And all it was all of this agenda, whatever hell, that was to be his contacts and influence from the left, and it worked right along with the neocons and everything, is we freaking rule you. All this little R&D BS is just a waste of time.
Or you mean the Presidio in San Francisco or what?
Yes. Yes. So what happened was, we've been covering, we do a lot of stories and so on, Agenda 21 keeps coming up every now and then. The thing that I am concerned about is, that they understand the philosophy behind it. It is we rule you, we just got a new way of doing it. It's local. Yeah, we got to have more local control. We got to local and get some more local. You can't do this and you got to do that and you got to have a comprehensive plan, sustainable development, day law, whatever. And it all comes down to you're not allowed to have chickens. Okay? Got chickens. I mean, if you got chickens, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of problems are solved. I had no idea they were that easy and productive. So now what we're doing, Donna and I, we have decided in the next month or two, we've been interviewing and talking to people, I need some more help, we're hiring staff and everything, Because what we're doing is we're going to take all that we've done and we're going to bring it back into a newsletter, merge the magazine into the focus of not just sustainability and permaculture and all this other stuff, which we're having, Pal, senior editor, he's a permaculture certified shiny badge wearer guy, So we have a lot of those skills, but that's not the point. The point is that as much as you can aquaponic and grow and food and sustain and kind of better, it doesn't make any difference. They're starving because they're gonna got something stored up for us, and they might not even knock. Okay. So I am like, we are only going to survive what's coming because it's going to get bad. I mean, my vote bad, but I'm not afraid. The more you understand it, the less afraid you can be. You want to prepare for it. But prepare for what? I live in a neighborhood has larger yards and so we got enough area to do some stuff. But I kind of see 2 years, and I kind of I know neighbors friendly, see their little kid, your goat got out, your dog did this, whatever. We kind of what's up. But I don't really know them. They don't know me other than we have parties. They got a lot of Ron Paul bumper stickers. I think they know that. So the main thing is I'm going, if we're going to survive this, you got to learn to love your neighbor. And I mean love them. It is a verb. Love them. If you don't love your wife enough, it means you're not loving your wife. So my thing is, if you don't love your neighbor, it's because you're not loving your neighbor. So what we're going to do is we're going to, over the next year, is we are going to create as much mass food producing, how-to, line drawing measurements of create it yourself, balcony, apartment, window, kind of herb, something, whatever. We're going to survive this thing and reach out to our neighbors and produce a product. It'd be a file you can email, a PDF you can print out, and you go across the street. I love you. I want you to not come kill me for I want you to be able to eat, okay? Hey, don't ever think I'm not doing it in my own self-interest, okay? I just want everybody to know that, So we're going to be taking this tack. I've been really hammered on this, and I'll finish with this, and give me a few minutes, and then we'll turn it over. I don't know, who should go first, Tom or Andrew? Okay, we'll let Tom do it. Okay, so
Sure he will.
you get 15 minutes. So what happens is I'm going, all right, this last month, there was a guy named Billy Cochran, he's a lead singer for Smashing Pumpkins. It's a popular band, a lot of positive lyrics, kind of whatever. He's on Alex Jones. He gets on Alex Jones, yeah, but they're coming for us and they're right there and they're evil and Bilderberg and they're going in death and destruction and kind of whatever. He's going, look, man. And he had private conversations. He'd been on before, and he wanted to come on and do a no commercial break, long form interview where Billy was telling him, stop focusing on fear. Fear creates a deer in the headlight. Yeah, I'm afraid. We gotta do what we gotta do. Critical thinking goes out the window. It's mind killing. Okay, it just puts you and makes you susceptible to, why do you think we're hearing about Kim Jong's son, whatever, is going to, we're all going to die? Seriously, if something happened, I'd blame our government anyway, just for being jerks, So I'm just, is there any little, black spot on the night satellite photograph that we can ignore? No, we got to have an enemy, and it's usually in threes. So now I'm in a shed, okay, or Ahmadinejad, whatever, that's how I remember. So we got Ahmadinejad, we got Kim Jong-un, okay, and who's the third guy?
Assad. The Muslims are coming.
Assad, okay? There's always three. Now remember, what was it before? It was Saddam, Osama, and probably Kim Jong-il. So I'm going, when they go, it's always threes. I was wondering who the third guy is. Assad. Yeah, right on. Okay, there's another guy, there's a third guy coming. We got backups, all right? So I'm just so much more afraid of my own government than I am them across the world. Seriously. And what are they doing? Sending in the fleet? That always works out. So I'm going, all right, how about we on a plane? I don't care. The fear that Alex represents in a lot of this stuff, I know he's right. Then he had Cody Wilson, the 3D gun printing kit, on. Now, Cody and I have become good friends. He's been on probably 6, 7 times on the show. By the end of this month, a full gun, 3D printed, on your desk, ready to load is going to be produced by the end of this month. Push the button, gun comes out. Boom, boom, boom. May only do, 6 rounds. That's enough to get a better gun. So, which is exactly what they were doing in World War II. These old stamped out press zip guns that they had, they're just dumping them. Well, the bad guys will get them too. Who the hell, that's HK or something here. What the hell I care about that? But if you don't have one, you're going to be making use of it, you get his, okay? So this is kind of the Butter Knife Brigade thing. So the point that he was, it's not really about guns. It's about the freedom. Decentralized, you can't stop us-ism. He started a thing called DEFCAD. He had Defense Distributed, which was one thing, but he understood what was going on. We had long conversations from the beginning of this. What he decided to do, since you can print anything, I mean anything, you can go in, guys, they have all these different, cases and so on. I just print this, boom, I need one for my boom, 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 I put it on my laptop, boom, I got it done. Who's going to want that? Sure as heck not the company that makes the plastic, okay? But it's more than that. Guy from Google comes up, he goes to Pop Mechanics, had a forum meeting. I think I told you guys this last month. They go, we are at the point now that we can 3D print a Swiss watch. Done. Put it on. Lasers, nano, powdered metals, plastics, ceramic, it's all computer, I made it, replicator, Star Trek, and how are you going to regulate that? Oh, you can't do that one, that's bad. So what do? They created DEFCAD, computer-aided drafting, DEFCAD, no takedowns. Anything that you come, no intellectual property, no copyright, no trademark, no patents, no nothing. I got ones and zeros. I got information, freedom of speech. I got information right here. I got it. You can't have that. What is it? Ones and zeros. I printed out a part from my car. I got a latch thing on the back of our 2 Monteros, on the back gate thing that keeps breaking $120 that son. I go, yeah, screw you. Boom, I print it. The guy from Kenmore, repair guy, comes up to fix your washer. Oh, I need a part. So he puts it in the back of his truck kind of thing, prints out the part, goes, puts it in. This is what's coming. And all your crap has what to do with that. Do you have any understanding what that means in energy, just in transportation, of putting part from here to there? See, what Walmart doing right now? Walmart are using their customers to deliver product as an incentive for them to shop. Hey, would you mind? Hey, you live near this guy. Would you drop this one off and you get a 10% off of whatever the hell? Okay. Why? To compete with Amazon. Walmart's going to start having their customers deliver stuff to you for them. Just think of that. This is you have no idea what's coming. And all this political crap is just in the freaking way, and the young people know it, and they're going, you're just wasting my time. What do you offer us? How can you enhance our freedom? How are you doing to where we are our own boss instead of asking us to enforce whatever plan you have? You're going to try and convince a 22-year-old that you got a better plan for his life than he does, and you have no idea what they know. You have no clue what the future they see. Not a clue. We're providing the clue. It is the interface between our generation and the younger guys. I have been able to do this for years. And you guys wonder why I don't care about the politics. I just don't care. I mean, I'll run to say I don't care. But, it's just, rents and giggles. So, the fear has been the problem. Everybody's always been, I made them more afraid than you did. I got my people more afraid than your people. And the fact that they're my people kind of thing. I mean, wow, man, they don't get it. So here are these 2 guys, Cody and Billy, taking the time, very popular, in the news everywhere, making it clear to Alex, stop promoting the fear. Quit. There's something much more powerful than that, much dangerous to the man than that. Love. We're going to emphasize the love of actually going across the street to your neighbors, to the side, behind, on your neighborhood, we're going to shift what happens when the love illusion across this country. Then we get, we have some, I make them look once, made you look, okay? I can at least give them a look once. And if I give them something good to look at and some kind of thing and they incorporate it into their, it's going to take off again. What, you think I haven't done this before? So what happens? You get something good, you're doing a little bit, you got your pop bottle de la hanging aquaponic, fish tank, goldfish tank, whatever, and you go ahead and you say, look what I did, come on over, have a barbecue, we can do that, oh, that'd be cool. So what did we do? Last week, I had a guy named Mitch Altman that runs a thing. He has a noise bridge, and there's a thing called Hackerspace, and HeatSync, and Gangplank. All these are groups around the country here.
Say 4 hours.
What they do is they have hacker spaces, and you go anywhere in the country, and you'll just go Hackerspace Phoenix, and it blows up everything. You just got to learn what the term is. I mean, heck, it takes me a year to find out what the word I need. So all of a sudden I find out that there are people like our Freedom's Phoenix workshop. What they do is they have mills, 3D printers, synthesize music stuff, soldering tables, electronics, guys taking apart boards and putting all kinds of different stuff in bins, everybody to use. You pay a subscription of anywhere from $25 to $100 a month, depending on what level you want. And you come into this manufacturing house workshop Halo with all the toys. So you think I'm getting my machining sons over there? Maybe some help. So what happens? People come in, they start. The one guy came in that kind of launched his career, made money, and this guy Mitch, how he made a bunch of money to help kind of spark this in San Francisco, was he made a keychain. It was called TV Be Gone. Whenever you go in any place, a bar or in the mall, you got all these TVs off.
Yeah.
The guy that came in, well, I'm kind of like the libertarian private property thing. I'm not sure, but it is kind of cool. But the other kids that came in yesterday on the show, we did for 2 hours, both of these guys. One guy is an engineer, works at a company, whatever. He goes, yeah, I'm doing a better version of it. It's a necklace, like dog tags. I wear it. It's just always sending the signal. So where I walk, instead of Minority Report, when the TVs pop up, they all go down. I'm walking through them. Look, it's the Messiah. He's turning off all the TVs. Thank you. So this is the kind of stuff that they make. Now the thing is that I have my lab last night. Oh, I didn't tell you this. I come back from the gym last night. Oh yeah, and I get hurt. I come back from the gym last night. I go into my lab. I make carbon nanotubes and nickel iron battery kind of stuff and everything. I was showing them that. They're all woohoo. I go in there, and for the first time, I got exactly the carbon. I'm going, oh yeah, baby, it's on. I've been doing this 6 months, and I find last night I get what here it comes. Okay. So we were making nanotubes for a long story. I'm showing these guys. The reason I was looking. And I go, isn't there anybody somewhere that we can do kind of hacker community space? I got the lab equipment, I got all the goodies, that want to spend more time on. I'm really busy, kind of help with. A lot of older guys come by, my friends, doing different stuff. But I'm going, where's the young? There isn't. Nobody. The YouTube head professor guy at ASU, okay, you'll like this one. So is there a lab? Are you guys doing any research? Well, I hear that somebody at University of Arizona kind of has a contract with a private company that kind of knows how to spell nanotubes. I can't, but I'm not really. I go, well, how come you're the nanotube guy? He goes, I got a grant from the government to go around and find naturally occurring nanotubes in plants. Like Avatar. Naturally occurring carbon fiber that makes them very tough to kill. So I go, wow, that's it? You guys are killing me. So as Donna and I talking to these different hacker communities and so on, they are so far past the technology of what they go, Obama's doing manufacturing. We need manufacturing here, right? So what does Corey Wilson do with his DefCat? He starts printing out 30-round magazines. Okay, here you go. Ban this, print. And we're having second amendments for everyone. Safe logo is done on the next 30-round mag by the end of the month. We'll be promoting that one. So you can see from my perspective, the arguments and the discussions on the stuff, the little minutia kind of crap here has nothing to do with the future of what's coming. And these guys know it. As we're pushing this aside, heck, it's 2 moons, not even Earth, okay? So as we're pushing this aside, what do you replace it with? Another plan? Or is yours the most popular plan that ever has been devised or supported in the great light across the planet? the inspiration for an entire generation of a population of envelops this globe. The most brightest light was the only government that you need is a promise to protect you having your own plan. Can we get back? If you don't, they're going to do it themselves. They're bypassing the monetary system with Bitcoin and silver. They're bypassing manufacturing by doing their own 3D printing. They're bypassing the government subsidized industrial food complex or whatever by growing their own crap. I'm telling you, what use is government to people that just don't need them? So, with that in mind, we'll go ahead and have a presentation by, that's my daughter wants me to do some tiling. So we're going to go ahead and Tom Morrissey come up and counter everything I just said. And then we're going to go ahead and have Andrew Garcia talking about kind of some plans of what we can do at a local level for Agenda 21 stuff. Because I tell you, what happens is they come in with incentives from the federal government, incentives from county government, incentives from local. There's always some reason for them to do it. Some little chunk of money they're going to get. There's some incentive. There's some grant. There's some light rail. We're going to make somebody a bunch of money. They'll hand out a little contribution to somebody. Okay. There's always some central plan. They're going to make it better for you. It'd be cheaper. When they did the light rail here in Phoenix, we knew it was cheaper to give everybody that rode it a Yugo and let them have their own damn car and save money. But that's not the point. It's about spending money. So what happens is now we're in a situation where they are using this control at the local level to eliminate the possibility of individuals to be self-sustaining. That is the goal. We are livestock. You see it in how they treat us with Second Amendment issues. Because it's not about the guns. It never was about the guns. It's about the database of the people that have guns. They don't even care. They know they're not going to go get all the guns. It's going to scare you out of having guns. Look at this guy we arrested. Look at this thing that we did. Look at this guy we killed. Look at this guy. Here. Stop being afraid. I'm just not afraid. I might want to bury a couple of things, but I'm not afraid. So when they come banging on the door and kicking it in, go, Dad, oh, please don't beat me. Like, now, where are all the guns? I don't know. I lost them. I sold them. I gave them away. As far as you know. Okay? So I'm just, I'm willing to take the first slap. I'm taking it. Go, man. I'm like, oh, you're just going to turn them over like everything. Yes, I am. All that they know about it. So I'm just like, this is not the time for us to try and combat collectivism and evil with just a different kind of collectivism and an evil. It's the wrong time. We do it with love. Hopefully Tom can share some love with us. Tom Morrissey, former chair of the state Republican Party, is on the stage.
Thank you, Ernest. I appreciate it.
9:30. Yeah, wherever you are.
I got 15 minutes and I'll hopefully not use it up. Happy to be here today. My age, I'm really happy to be here. But the thing I wanted to come and discuss with you some of the things that I learned when I was chairman of the Arizona Republican Party. I come from groups like this. I'm a grassroots person. A little bit about my background. I was born, you can tell by my accent, I was born in the South. I was born from Brooklyn. In my early years, I was a member of two rock groups that sold about 10 million records. I was a songwriter for Ray Charles. I'm an independent film producer, and then I got some common sense, and I had some children, and I got into law enforcement. I was a deputy U.S. Marshal. I retired as Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal for the District of Arizona, which is the state of Arizona. And all during that time, I have been conservative. I cut my teeth in politics in New York City when I grew up, and I was one of 7 people in the entire city that supported Barry Goldwater. Okay, and that's true, I'll tell you. And I'm very proud of that. I wound up eventually in this state, in New York State, what they call a Republican or a conservative is mainly a Republican, is not anything like what I thought was a Republican. I'm a conservative first, a Republican second. So I wind up here in Arizona, and I was in a legislative district chair for 5 years, and then out of the blue, I was driving to Las Vegas with my wife on business. I get a call from the party over 2 years ago saying that the conservative, quote-unquote conservative candidate had he was running for the state chair, and they asked if I would be interested in running for the state chair. I had no idea what the state chair did. And I said to my wife, you know, what do you think? It's a 50-50 thing, and she said, let's go for it. So I said, yeah, and to my amazement, I was a write-in candidate with 3 days, a 3-day campaign. This is a tribute to folks like yourself. I got elected state chairman. And let me tell you something. Give yourselves a round of applause, okay? But what happened was the establishment, quote-unquote establishment, they saw me as a Tea Partier, a knuckle-dragging Tea Partier. It's what they see you as. Anybody that disagrees with the status quo is a nut or a crazy in their eyes. They immediately set out to stop any form of success by stopping the money from coming in. Well, I went around them, and I got creative. Herman Cain came in and helped me do it. And you know, Michelle Bachmann and people like that came in and kept us afloat until we could get our power base in place. And I was told by the people who run the party, who run the political system, both parties, that unless I brought in the people that they wanted or they thought should be around me, there would be no money coming into the party. And I said, thank you very much, and I went out and did what I thought was right. I prayed, I got on my knees when I could. Now I just had a knee replacement. But I got on my knees every day, and I prayed to God for guidance. And I relied on that. And I'll be a son of a gun. I was part of the organization, or head of the organization, and we wound up raising $3.8 million, which is more money than was raised over the last 5 years. Now, during my chairmanship, I made some mistakes. And I really feel that if I had it to do over, I would have done it a little different. One of my mistakes was how I perceived Ron Paul. Okay, now, I have a son. I had 3 children. My oldest son, I raised him to be a conservative. I sent him off to school. He went to State University of New York, graduated, came out a flaming liberal. And I gently nudged him, I wonder why, gently nudged him back to being apolitical. And then one day, he called me and he said, Dad, who's this Ron Paul guy? And I said, he's a Republican, and he's a conservative. Well, okay, listen. He's a libertarian, all right? Okay, but my verbiage to my son, I said, what about him? He said, I love him. So I got to thank Ron Paul for bringing my son back to being a rational human being. He's also married to an attorney who's now a rational human being. Okay, so the thing is, yeah, I made mistakes. Okay, I'll tell you, I made mistakes. I would have done it differently. Okay, but what I tried to do with the party was to bring everybody to the table, and to hear everybody, give everybody right of ownership. Politics, like Ernest was saying, you know, it's not, what I learned is not what I thought it was. It is nowhere near what I thought it was. And I'm telling you, there's an opportunity in that. Okay, there's an opportunity for us to get that. What you were saying about the youngsters, the Generation X, is absolutely true. I had as my executive assistant a 19-year-old young man named Laddie. And Laddie knew more about what was going on politically in this place than I ever thought of knowing. And he knew how to get things done. And I look at people like Laddie, and I look at a lot of kids, I call them kids, came to headquarters and volunteered, young men and young women, college, a lot of them were college age, that came in and volunteered. Because they understood what was really going on far better than those of us that have been better than, knowing better than everybody else. And I was one of them. I thought that I knew better than everybody else. And you know what I found out? I don't. I don't. But you know what? Our country today is in one of the greatest, I'd say dangers is underselling. We're in trouble. We are really, really in trouble. And I don't point at Barack Obama and say it's because of him. It's because of the people that elected him. Okay? Now, when I was chair, I supported the candidacy of Mitt Romney. And here's why. Okay, this ship of state that we're sailing in is going in the wrong direction. This progressivism has been going on since the days of Teddy Roosevelt, and our country has been sailing in the wrong direction. What I believe, and I still believe, needs to happen is that ship of state has to be turned and pointed in the correct direction. I'll say right direction, because it'll be called me a teabag. Okay? But I will tell you, it's got to be turned, and until we turn it, there's no hope. But once we turn it, it's up to us to make certain it never veers off course again. And that's the lesson that I learned as chairman. I made notes here because I don't want to miss, I don't want to miss anything. But I only have 15 minutes, and I'm going to keep that. But the thing is this: there's an opportunity here. You call it, the love revolution. Okay, I see it as again as an opportunity for all of us. But the thing is, we got to know what we're up against. Okay, the party, both political parties, I say Democrat and Republican, are controlled by consultants, and they field. They're like fight promoters. They bring their candidate, their champion, forward, and they run that champion. It used to be, back in the day when this country was brought into being and designed, that people of principle, working people, stood up and ran for office. We're not designed to have political politicians. When I was coming in, I was talking to a gentleman outside. We were talking about Bernie Sanders, who is, I think you all know, he's an independent, quote unquote independent, he's a socialist. But he admits it. And I believe that people who are of that bent, and admit that they are, I think that there's room there for healthy dialogue and a healthy discussion. But the problem is that they don't admit who they are. I think what's wrong with my party, the Republican Party, is that we have as the tip of our spear.
They don't admit they're liberal. They don't admit it.
They don't. Well, they don't admit who they are. All right,
they're fascists.
But what I'm saying to you is this: that the party, I'm speaking about the Republican Party as the former state chair. What happens? We have social conservatives and the fiscal conservatives at war with one another. And my experience is that probably 70% of this country is fiscally conservative. See, so we all know that what do we want? We want smaller government. We want less government intrusion. Okay, don't we?
Yeah.
All right? That's what we want. Why the hell can't we get that?
Because that's not what the people want.
That isn't what said again?
That's not what the people want. They want more government. They want more handouts from the government.
That's the
what they want.
takers, not the takers, not the
That's
makers.
What about Homeland Security?
Let him talk.
And they just want, okay, I'm not going to argue those points. All I'm here to tell you today is I feel compelled to come and tell you what I see as what's really going on. If they're listening to Ernest, I think you guys already know. But I want to tell you something. I feel that unless we can turn this ship of state around and then make certain it keeps going in the same direction, we're out of business. We're toast. Okay? The thing is this: we elected officials, and there are exceptions to that. And I'm going to give you as a personal opinion. A guy like Andy Thomas. How much time do we have?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. A guy like Andy Thomas, who got crucified.
Thank God.
Good.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. All
Fine
right.
day in Arizona.
Okay. And, well, I disagree with that, but I'll tell you something. When you stand on principle, okay, and you stand for what you believe, and you're honest about it, then everything else is the open. If people will say who they are and what they are, and let us decide if we want to put them in office, I think that's the way. They're not consultants. Whether their candidate wins or loses, they don't give two damns about our country. Okay, that's the danger that we face. And that's the thing, that's a factor that I want to bring to the fore. I'm not a politician. I will not run for office because I'm not a politician. I don't believe in it. But I do believe that we have to return this country an elected office to citizen legislators, as this country was designed, to have people go and serve and then leave and go back to the real world and bring other people in. And I felt compelled to come here today, and I asked her if I could speak, and Ernest gave me that opportunity. And I'm going to have to leave in a little bit, so Andy, if you're going to take shots at me, my buddy over here will back that up. I've only got 2 minutes, but go ahead, I'll answer your question.
I think the Federal Reserve funds those consultants that are corrupting the process. Our banking system is funding it all.
I don't disagree, I don't know, but I'm saying that's a fact. I faced it, okay, and because I come from Brooklyn, I'm Irish, I got a thick head, I told him to go pound sand, and I'm proud of that. That's why I'm not the chairman today, okay, and I'd much rather be who I am really than be that. But, ladies and gentlemen, we owe it to our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. And we owe it to those that went out and spilled blood for this country to turn this damn thing around. And it's the only way it's going to get turned around is if we do it. And whatever the method is or however we do it, if our country, the original plan of our country is the product, then I think we can all stand together, hold hands, and get it done. If we don't get it done, we're done. I got a minute, so go ahead. Your hand went up first, go ahead.
Okay, you just mentioned we owe to the folks that spilled blood for us. Are you saying that we need to support the idea that our and sailors around the world are actually fighting for us as opposed to fighting for Bechtel or Israel or United Technologies and so forth?
I'm talking about the soldiers that fought in World War II and World War I. I'm talking about those that spilled blood coming up. And you know what? These soldiers that are out there, they're not out there because they choose to be. They're sent there. Okay? And that, I believe that the Congress, only wars that are sanctioned by the Congress and actions are the only wars that we should, and that's in our national interest. And I want to thank you. Did you have a...
I just had a respectful disagreeing comment to something that you said about taking over the ship state, turning around, blah, blah, blah. I have a different view on that, is that we should allow it and its Fed to sink.
Here.
Get on the page.
You know, whatever gets us back to who we really are, I'm for.
Moving back to the country we're supposed to be.
Yeah, we need to get back to the country.
That's where we're supposed to be. It took us away from where we were supposed to be.
Yeah, and it's been...
That's all it can do. That's what it's designed
I'm
for.
with Ernie, I want to keep it.
I want to graffiti it on the way down.
I think we need new captain, we need new direction, but whatever it is, we need our country
It's
back.
still got its hull ripped open and it's taking on water.
You're right. That's right. Thank you all. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Andrew, you're going to come up here so that, I don't keep talking. So Tom understands, I was hoping to have some influence before he came up here to say that he would say something different. He just can't help himself. You have to understand, a lot of these young guys that have seen the internal workings like you have, I mean, you were exposed, you know how it really goes. No, but the young guys did, okay? As you're in there, there's the plan. Here's the plan, you're supposed to have a plan. You go, no, I got my plan, and there's a Tea Party plan, we got a different plan, there's a plan. These young people are always looking, if your plan doesn't support the idea that I get to have my plan, I don't want anything to do with your plan. I mean, you think about simple things like, you go to Libertarian, I remember it was Felda Williams, and Paul Johnson, and Gary Fallon, the Libertarian, in '95 running for mayor of Phoenix. The Arizona Breakfast Club, all up here, had the debate. It went like this. What is your position on gay marriage? Oh, I think this, and I think that. And Gary goes, what the hell is the government doing in marriage?
Yeah.
It's a totally different concept. So this is the kind of, if you're not bringing up people that have their own plan, you're just another version of the same thing. So I try to keep emphasizing that, have been for 20 years. But they don't listen. When the revolution in '07 started, There was never a doubt in many of our minds what was going to happen. Not a doubt. Here we go. It was an opportunity for the individuals with the internet to be able to express themselves without filters or somebody else saying what they believe. And you'll go, there'll be a million people out on the Washington lawn, the big Tea Party, and who's got the microphone and the stage? Clear Channel and Fox News. And they say, all these people have sanctioned us speaking for them. Well, they got in the Fed signs and Ron Paul and get out of the wars and all. Well, those don't count. So what they did is they just pushed an entire mass army of exactly what you were asking for, and he said, get the F out. And they go, okay, peace out. And they went off and they're doing what they want on their own. You can't recapture them. It's over. They have already abandoned this kind of control, and you don't see it. We gotta get the ship of state on the ship of state this and the ship of state that and the ship of state. I'm like, everybody's so concerned about the ship of state, they don't even realize that there's people on it. The people don't matter. And we're like with life rafts and, and our little helicopters and teleportation machines and warp drive. I'm just saying, hey, let's go over here. Never even occurred to them. That is the future that we're focusing on. Andrew Garcia calls me, and we got in this guy, and we're going to, and I'm going, why are you calling me? Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. I seriously. But it's kind of a local thing, and we talked about different things that could be done. And I'm always about changing the culture. All the other stuff is a side effect. Vote totals, whether you even vote, who gets to speak. Because, the media, they always put the argument, it's a this way or that way of ruling you. Anybody that says, I don't want to rule you, you get to rule yourself, well, that guy's a Looney Tune, whatever the heck, and shoot and ignore him. And Levolution just exploded anyway. And now what do? They come, oh, well, Rand Paul is an acceptable compromise of whatever. And these young guys are like, God, you guys so don't get it, man. I consider explaining to me what you get. So the thing is that I am interested in working at a local level for the social impact, for the understanding, the cultural direction that we take. The laws follow the crowd. They don't lead them. They never have. That's why they try and influence your mind to get you to ask for something, and I don't believe you are. They're just saying you are. When you go to the ballot box, you go, assuming you even trust the ballot, let's assume we do, they have, all of a sudden they'll go, look, this is what they voted for. 51.3% of the 30% of the people that voted say, survey says, and they try to convince you that, yeah, okay, you may have known the truth, you may know what's going on, but every one of your neighbors doesn't, and they voted for this scumbag, de la whatever. Okay? Well, what if I don't believe that they did? What if I don't care? What if the purpose of government is to defend my individual rights and I don't give a crap what the majority says? When that cultural idea takes hold, and it is right now, you can count on pretty much anybody under 40. My age, 52 and older, you'll sit there and talk to them and they'll come right up here and say, but we got to get on the ship to steer it. The ship is done. It's over. It's dead. The currency is dead. Our credibility is dead. Our view around the world as the light of freedom, dead. There is nothing other than our heritage. And if it wasn't, for the first time when Ron Paul first started running, one of the things the American flag, the only thing it had use for, I was like, somebody had a sign that had an American flag with Ron Paul on it, and I was thinking, that's the only time that American flag ever meant anything, and Ron Paul's image just gave credibility to the flag. The flag did not give credibility to him.
Right.
That mindset, a lot of people don't get. We're going to try, you want to do some activism, you want to have a local level, you want to do some politics that has an impact to overlap with what we're doing, changing culture. Shifting minds. Maybe it's Mesa and Agenda 21 stuff. We'll talk about it.
All right. We
Stand up.
I'll remember that.
She's gonna get you.
Okay, so most of you have heard probably something about local Agenda 21. Do you know what it is, anyone? Okay, so basically it's the UN's plan to control all of us, but they are implementing it at a local level. So rather than going from the top down, they have a plan and they're starting to implement it in small local areas. A lady, Rosa, how do you say her last name? Fiore. I watched a lot of her stuff last night. She's with Democrats Against Agenda 21 and spoke to some tea parties, which I found kind of funny. She's, stands up, basically says, I'm a lesbian, I'm a liberal, I'm a feminist, I'm everything you hate, but listen to what I have to say. And they did, and they clapped, and they realized that what's going on here. It's kind of hard because there's a lot of machinations with how Agenda 21 works, but the bottom line is that it comes down to that the UN met in Rio de Janeiro back in 1992, I believe. It was 92, and George Bush signed it into office. It's created the United Nations, 1987, the action plan to implement. Huh?
But he's conservative.
I know, he's conservative. In 1987, the action plan was then signed in 1992 by President George Bush and 170 other nations. It's called Agenda 21. And it was considered unsustainable under this plan. The agenda for the 21st century that we had was unsustainable, right? So they had to get together to help us. I mean, they had to. They love us. They had to help us out. They had to help this failing, horrible, fossil fuel, planet. So when Agenda 21 came around, they decided that, middle class lifestyles, that would be, I would think, most of us in this room, single family home, private residences. If you're a single family home, private residence, 6,000 square feet, you're a threat. You stupid individuals, you. If you own private vehicles, meat eating, if you have air conditioning, appliances, dams. We're not allowed to have dams. We're not allowed to save our own water. I mean, someone could use it. Imagine that. Farming. If you can farm your own food. I mean, you don't fit into their plan. Clinton implemented the plan in 1993 by giving the American Planning Association a multi-million-dollar grant to write a land use legislative blueprint for every municipality in the U.S. It's called the Growing Smart Legislative Guidebook. Okay, so how it works now in the state of Arizona, I had to go back and redo some of her stuff because hers was for California. What they do is they say, look, the state of Arizona in 2002 made an initiative that every city and every municipality would have to enter a plan and submit it to the grand state and call it the general plan. So right now our city in Mesa, which is fairly large, is getting their general plan together. And when you listen to Rosa, by the way, just Google her Behind the Green Mask or go to Democrats Against Agenda 21 and listen to her. They're about an hour long, but they're just awesome. Her material she gives you. Everything she says is absolutely everything you will hear at your local city council meetings. Verbiage, they have it all down. So Growing Smart is the planning development and its principles in our local and county plan. The local Agenda 21 planning guide put out by the ICLEI in the United Nations is basically urban areas are going to be consolidated and rural areas are being emptied of people through restrictive land use policies, gasoline costs, closure of rural schools, closure of rural post offices, water well monitoring, smart meters, because we need to have smart meters, because you could be using too much water, you individualist. And the recognition pressures. Smart growth is not just the preferred building style for the UN and Agenda 21, it is the ideology. It's already being implemented. It's not that they want bike lanes, they want to close certain bike lanes and let's heavily dense and populate areas. Let's do vertical growth because we want to have a walkable community arts that people love. And it's also common core values in school. We're going to teach our children about how evil we are to use water and be consumers of meat and consumers of everything. The dramatic revolution in private property tax is how they are going to get us. It's going to be our education, our food, our housing, our transportation. We are being told that this is our plan, but it is not. We have to speak out. When you go to these meetings, they're gonna say, in Mesa, they're calling it My Mesa Village. And the town planner called me, he says, they go, we sent you a survey. Didn't you get a survey? Oh, these are the surveys that we got back. And this plan is exactly what Mesa wants. Mesa wants to have, we want that, and we want, so we started asking them, well, so did we want the light rail?
No.
Oh, well, that was used with federal dollars. Well, federal tax dollars, I get it, those aren't our tax dollars either. They, what, just a different dude stole the money? I mean, it's a joke the way that they have a plan, but the goal is to condense you into small urban areas, vertical sprawl. They're closing a part of Main Street. I don't know how many people are from Mesa. They're closing down Main. They're going to make it one lane and one lane so the light rail can go through there. I find it ironic, and please do not take this offensive, but I do find it ironic that 5 of Mesa City Council members were LDS and that this light rail has to go past the LDS temple. Now they're also using eminent domain to get it to go from from Mesa Drive to Gilbert Road. They are eminent domaining 32 properties. But they're not calling it eminent domain because they already told us eminent domain is illegal in the state of Arizona. Well, yeah, but then, oh no, but it's not eminent domain if we're just taking it for utilities. Well, it's still eminent domain? Well, no, it's for, so we can have it for utility use. So, yes, they are. They're going to eminent domain people.
The utility power the light rail?
And tell them where the meeting was.
Well, we've had several. We've had several since the one that you went to. The one we went to the other night, first of all, on her website, she has some very cool...
The one I went to was at an LDS church.
Oh.
Oh, no, we went to the one at the Crown Distributing, and it was all full of beers.
Oh. Yeah, I wish I could have been that one.
Here's how they're going to get us, guys. There's no one way. They have it wrapped up. They have this wrapped up. They have this, it's energy, peace, ecology, economy, and equity. And when they say equity, they mean social equity. Everybody's got to be socially equal. Because you people with money are bad individuals. You should be equal with the rest of us, individuals that don't have money. And then the ecology is basically a planet. It's all for the planet, man. To save our future. We have to, well, in their plan, it is, we do have to have sustain. So have you ever wondered how terms like sustainability and smart growth, high density urban mixed use development, those are their catch terms that they're going to use. And they'll blight areas down, and parts of Scottsdale Road and here have had what would be called blighted communities. Then a developer will come in. They'll buy these pennies on the dollar. Fiesta Mall is facing this. So a developer came in, purchased the property for $8. They moved all the big stores, got up and moved out because they want to go to where the new Cubs stadium that we tax subsidized. So now this area is considered redevelopment. So if I'm a property owner or I want to buy that property or I want to open up a great idea for whatever business it is, I have to get permission. And they're going to go, no, it's mixed use, sorry, you can't develop it. And once your area is under redevelopment, they also have a right to eminent domain for 12 years. Period, nothing you can do. You're under redevelopment. And once the parties are considered in redevelopment that have been blighted, so large areas of, large areas of commercial properties that are sitting empty. In our area, we have a whole empty food city that left, and there's one little man who has a burger shop. It's a friend of ours that keeps the whole thing going. So what are they going to do to him when they blight him? Right now, he's the only one there. These areas that are becoming blighted, where the economy's crashed and people picked up and taken off. So now they're coming in, scooping them up for pennies on the dollar. They're going to hold on to them, and then by God, they've got a plan for you. But they're using these catchphrase terms, and when you go to these meetings, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, what am I going to do about this? So I went I called Ernie, I'm like, Ernie, what the hell? What do I do? And he's like, I so don't care, just... I so don't care, just tell me you want to be able to grow food and live in your yard. So now the lady in Mesa wants to grow food and live in her own yard. But we gave out these information. They have a lot of stuff on their website. that you can actually print and show up. My plan, or the way that we can make an impact the most would be to find out what cities are going to implement the general plan. In the state of Arizona, it's implemented for each city. That general plan then has to be voted on. Your city has to invite you to these meetings. When you go to these meetings, they go, oh, this is the high urban development, this is low traffic use. Because their goal is to get you packed in as tight as they can, get rid of as many cars as they can, have bike lanes and make it pedestrian friendly and sustainable. And then you sound like an asshole if you're the one that says, oh no, I want to use up all the gasoline and water and leave nothing for my grandkids. I mean, they make it just sound like you're the worst person ever if you go against their development plan. But some of the people in Mesa pointed out, why can't we just be left like we are? We want to just live on our property. We want to just be left alone. Why do we need to change it? Why won't businesses just be able to come in? I get that you're going to do some redevelopment, the owners of these big buildings and empty spaces and commercial spaces. Just let them, that's fine, bring them in. I mentioned lower taxes. I mentioned maybe the fact that why does the city council hold the power for all the liquor licenses? Because you single-handedly caused Main Street to go down after taxpayers paid for their Mesa Arts Center. They wouldn't give liquor licenses to the local businesses, and some of those businesses went down. So if you show up at these meetings, you don't even have to ask questions. I stood outside, and on the website they have Democrats against Agenda 21. We just registered Republicans against Agenda 21. For the folks that can't get past, the catchwords, I get it. So this is pretty cool. It just basically says this county, so you could put Maricopa County, is a member of ICLEI, the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives. And it gives them some information. And all of these they're using non-government organizations. This is how they're getting around it. Oh, but you're using non-government organizations. Sues the EPA, and then the money gets funneled back in. And we're getting, of course, it's grants, it's local money. Mesa just got $155,000 for part of their light rail. But the money's coming from non-government organizations, and it's because they participate in this ICLEI, and they deny it. So we went to Mesa, we handed out this little thing. Mesa is a member of, the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives.
They call it ICLEI.
ICLEI. So we've handed this out, and we gave it, we gave them out, and I just stood there, and the town manager stood there by me going, oh God, get away from me, bitch. Please don't mess with my $140,000 a year salary, you're screwing me up here. And then we found out, I got the email that he actually emailed back, and he emailed me and said, thanks for the materials, but right now Mesa is actually not a part of ICLEI. Our previous mayor, yeah, you're a part of ICLEI. So notice, and then this is another good notice that you can do. When you go to the council meetings, you just go to her website. She's got all these papers pre-listed. I mean, this is so easy to do. They've already given us the tools we need to be activists. Notice, you cannot be denied access to this meeting. Open meeting laws in California, the Brown Act. We will look up our own local laws and get one of these up on the website for us, that we cannot be denied, and we have a similar law that you can't be denied. You can't be denied from speaking. If you fill out a card, they have to let you speak. So we need to flyer card. This is old school. We need to take it back to flyering cars, showing up at all their little meetings. And they had already changed the language from the time Shelton went to a meeting. We went to the one before Shelton. Shelton went to a meeting. And then by the time Todd and I went to a meeting, they had already changed their little cookie slideshow. Oh no, we want to hear your voice. This plan is predestined long before you were going to ever come into this room. They knew what they were going to tell you. They knew what they were going to control. But right now, are they controlling our water, how we develop our property, how the property development is going to go, how they're going to blight properties, sell properties for pennies on the dollar, eminent domain. So I would say get to some of these meetings. There's a technique they use called the Delphi technique, and this meeting is can hand these out, which is awesome. Delphi technique is the technique they use to do crowd control. And on this notice that you take with you, you hand this to people, and it says, this meeting is designed to manipulate and direct public opinion to approve the, blah, blah, blah plan for Mesa, Arizona. And it tells you how they plan on using mind control. We ask that everybody stays nice at the meetings. Just be real direct, get yes or no answers. Well, how much does this cost? And he'll area. Well, but sustainable growth, are you saying that we couldn't have, I don't know, chickens in our backyard? I mean, just ask them questions, come up with questions to make them think. And it's pissing them off. They're obviously already pissed off. I've gotten the emails, and I'll be at the next 2.
Love letters.
Yeah, I'll be at the next 2 Mesa City Council meetings. But I'd say just print off this one paper here. I'll show it to you guys later. I didn't print off enough to bring, but she has all this stuff on her website. If you go to Democrats Against UN Agenda 21, Rose Corey, I mean, she's just awesome with a lot of the stuff that she has. A lot of this is like activism that's been pre-done for us. I would suggest everybody reads it for themselves and never suggest just blindly. But I'm hitchhiking off of her stuff that she's, you know, I'm not going to double do the work that she's done. Right now we're looking into the Mesa, Arizona ordinance. Ernie helped me get that looked up. We need to look at all of our city's ordinances for Chandler, Gilbert, Scottsdale, Phoenix, Glendale, and we see what the city ordinances say about the people being able to, I think our ordinance was, don't be mad at me, Ernie, because I didn't bring it. The ordinance 407, we said that there was A, B, and that C would say something like, the right of the people will always be preserved, that we could sustain in a way that we see as self-sustainable by growing our own food and being able to share food with our neighbors without inspection and without a tax. So it's going to be able to just start by simple things like that. Just, you can't tax our food. We have a right to share food with our neighbors. That's where this ties into Ernie's thing of, I want to love my neighbors. I want to be able to get my neighbors to grow some food. But they'll start seeing that pop up too much, and then they're going to get scared and go ahead.
There's a bill at the Senate to stop Agenda 21 statewide. Do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, but how is statewide going to affect municipalities? States can't tread on municipalities. Municipalities can't tread on states. Each city ordinance is going to have to be adopted. It's like the state saying that I mean, it's a great idea. I'm glad that they are thinking it and that they're, you know, that forward progressive thinking is there. But you have to remember this is implemented at a local level.
Well, that's sort of what I mean. Do you think that just that bill is there as sort of a smokescreen to make people complacent?
Yeah. Well, that or people will look at falsely. Exactly. I'm telling you, if you don't go, your city council in your city has more authority over you than the state on this.
Okay,
Ernie?
Go ahead.
Ernie, bring one thing up that she didn't mention, I don't know if you're aware of it. You got $27 million for Walmart to teach nothing but students how to implement Agenda 21. That's a year ago. And I heard, I don't know for sure, I do know about that one, but I do believe the University of Texas got $150 million.
I think my thing is, what can we do? It's here, they're teaching, they're giving them the money. What can you do?
okay, let me tell you the conversations that you can imagine, you know, how much I'm telling Andrea for an hour, I don't care for an hour, you know, but the point is that, you know, the Tom or Andrea or anybody comes up and they'll go, they want to control the land because they want to put us into higher and higher, more people, and easier to kill you or something or control you or your livestock. Get over it. So I'm going, okay. As I see this coming, what is the best thing that to really, you know, have small children, small grandchildren you want to do your best for? Well, I didn't get on the political be in charge of and I got a shiny badge track because I knew that's not where it was going. Sooner or later, everybody's going to want to be left alone. There are those that just want to be left alone and those that just won't leave alone. You know, they always want to make it more complicated than it's not. So what we do is we support efforts like this. I've had Rose on the show quite a few times. We have guys from the right, like Tom DeWeese writes a lot on Agenda 21 in our magazine and on the site. We have people, she's a liberal, lefty, Democrat lesbian, is against Agenda 21 wants to have property rights. How often does that happen? Okay. So I'm going, this is where we're going. And what I suggested to Andrea, I said, if you want to get me involved, you want us to be part of this, it has to be that we learn something. And what do we learn? The garden pool people that do the aquaponics in Mesa. They had their own little pool they put a roof on, that their poop goes down to feed the algae for the tilapia, that then they filter the water into the vegetables that do it, the goats. And this. We went out there, we looked at it, we saw it, we promoted it. Heck, they were on Doomsday Preppers or something. So this is, they perfected this enough that, we're doing it. Don and I are going to do a double dome that we have on where our garden was, and that pond that we have, we're going to put the fish in that. Because I was thinking, we have to dig a hole, it gets too hot. She goes, just use a pond. And I go, okay, I never thought of that. That's a good idea. So we're going to go ahead and start creating this and promoting it in our magazine, newsletter, and so on. Well, what if they won't let you? 2 hours after Channel 15 or 3 or one of them did a special on this family showing, hey, isn't this cool? They took this beat-up old house they bought for nothing. Instead of filling in the pool or they turned it into this food making, got 2 little kids, do homeschooling, getting ready for it, and providing food.
Not so.
So what they did is 2 hours later, here comes city zoning. And they said, hello, saw you on TV, what's up? So they were around, inspected everything, and they got away with it because, unbeknownst to them, the covering they put over it, the rafters kind of thing that they had, was just under the right mill thickness of the plastic, that if it was a little bit thicker, it would have been deemed a permanent structure and they would have had to tear it down. And they went, oh, you just made it. Damn it.
Have to rewrite the law.
But gosh darn it, yeah, right. No, but gosh darn it, they're going to get it if they want. This is exactly what this Agenda 21 is to stop. You're not allowed to sustain yourself. You are to be controlled by food. Don't think so? Ask Saddam. Ask Kim Jong-sun. Okay? Ask, Syria. Ask, Somalia. Anywhere. It's the food. Oh, we are the war, whatever, we got the food. That's what happens. So this is where... So I encourage you, I said, if you look at the city charter, let's see if it loaded up. If you look at the city charter, I'll guarantee you that there is it's not loading. You go to the Mesa City Charter, and you'll find that in there somewhere, it'll say, that as part of the charter, there's to be a bunch of ordinances saying how you can and can't use your property and do and not and whatever. But in there will be a provision that allows for those ordinances. And it says, we are part of the comprehensive plan of the sustainable de la we rule you people. Okay? That is what this Agenda 21 is. They need, as part of the city charters, to put in for a plan. Well, who does the plan? Well, they're not really concerned at the high level of who does it, because once you create the mechanism, they'll come get it later. Okay? But the local developers, and the local business guys, and the local people, they love it. What happened to Bailey's Brake Shop? You remember that? They wanted to take this private property to give it to another private property so that they can get higher tax rates and pay off one of their buddies. It was Ace Hardware or something. They want to condemn him and give it to this guy. Well, that was the Kelo decision that the Supreme Court that they did. Yes, it is in the public interest to take your private property and give it to another private property guy. If we can increase our tax revenue base, that's the public interest, is the government get more money. Oh. Thanks for explaining that to us. Okay? So you can see the government is not going to be the solution to this stuff. That's a problem! So what do? We take advantage of the opportunities like this to be able to educate the people. Where is the problem? It is the government mechanism by which they're going to justify and use and vote in majority of. And we had a meeting. We had a bunch of meetings. You were permanently well, it was open meeting.
They've already had
You could speak at, but you had meeting.
6 meetings they've already had.
6 meetings. 6 meetings say we take your property. You weren't there, dummy.
You approved it and we gave you a survey.
You totally agreed. Totally agreed. It's like you're downloading from iTunes something. Do you agree? Yes. Do you really agree? Check your agree. Or you totally yes, yes, yes. And then you find out what you agreed to.
Your face
Get sewed to somebody's butt. Yeah. That was a South Park episode. The human Sentai pad. I mean, you totally agreed. So that's what's going on now. I went through this 20-something years ago in Phoenix. I saw what they did with it. And then all of a sudden you get a bunch of light rail and stadiums and all this other stuff and paid for and crap. Yeah, Mike.
I'm going to go ahead and relate one of these things. Because back in '91, before Hillary, they had one of these meetings at Phoenix College to promote national health care. I guess the first meeting's probably like what they're doing in Mesa now, the first testing the waters, I guess, even though the plan's been in place since the 80s, I guess.
Right.
But what they did is it was all dog and pony show. We get in there, we see they've got all their speakers lined up on both sides, which means they control the whole discussion. But there were about a dozen of us that went, libertarian activists. We all had our signs, with cute sayings that we opposed it, blah, blah, blah. And finally, when it came down to it, at the end, they were outside with Dennis DeConcini interviewing him about it, because he's the one who was, supposedly in charge of this forum that they put on. And we're all standing behind with our signs in opposition and everything. I get home and tell them, watch, I'm going to be on TV, I'm going to be on TV. Go on TV, you see them interviewing Dennis DeConcini, and they've blown his face up to the whole screen.
Yes.
So that's the way it works, and the media is exactly in part of it too.
I tell you what the difference is, though, is that the media is being totally bypassed. Nobody pays attention to them anymore. It's not, they don't watch it. Generation Next, they spend more time. I was doing radio, and it was about 2005, 2006. And I seen this because my kids were all in high school about then. And 2 boys, 2 girls. High school, I was saturated with internet, MySpace, Facebook, and what I got. Okay? And I tell you, and that was before smartphones. In 2005 was the first time that teenagers spent more time in front of their computers than the television. And it's never going back. And they have to convert the television into a computer and try and program that, and they got access to the world. They're the big bad guys, they've lost. I appreciate what Tom realization that he's coming to, that, I should have been nicer to Ron Paul and the people, but they've gone plaid, man. They're way past this. There is no control or we got to save and fix and everything. It isn't going to happen that way. So they're like, whoa, we need to get you on board of what? I got to be on a board all the time? What, do you got water? I mean, you know what? I got to get on your water board. Okay? We have our own board. And it's up here. So this opportunity, I will get involved in this for only this reason, is to educate the individual property homeowners to understand what is coming, and it is a steamroller. It is a tsunami, and there's nothing they can do about it other than to make sure that they make their voice clear that these guys do not represent how they're going to get to use their property, certainly as they're going hungry and being able to grow food.
Ernie, the general plan, don't laugh, they do have to get voted on. So, just saying, if any of you are
still voting, and of course it's going to be. That's what all this is. It's part of the. It's part of this.
Vote on it.
Yeah, it's part of this.
You get to vote on it.
Are they going to use electronic voting?
Seriously, this is a perfect example. I'm going to give this example. This is perfect. I got perfect. What are you going to say? Remember what you're going to say? Remember it? Got it? Okay, perfect example. If you vote and you get out and exercise your First Amendment rights, and I want to have my property protected, I want you to vote not to take it away. I want you to vote to have a structure that's there to protect my rights or whatever. I need to go, and you go out there, and if you win, oh, you're happy. See, the system works. I won. All you did was sanction the system that was going to take it away. So what happens is, now you're in a situation to where, let's say you lose. Do you get to complain? They say, well, if you don't vote, you don't get to complain. Bullshit. If you voted, you've been happy with the other result. What, you a sore loser now? You see my point? The people that refuse to participate in the system are the only ones that get to complain. I'm not sanctioning this whole process, no matter how much I go out and exercise my right and bitch, in a system that I'm sanctioning by participating in it. If you win, I guess my property's yours now. Sorry. God, I wish I would have done better at convincing more people that did vote. So I'm not playing that game. But in the process, while you can sit there and try and encourage everybody to vote, that I want to very clear up front. You will see a lot of things that we're doing, and you'll kind of, I don't understand. It doesn't really help that, you're not getting it. From my perspective, everything that I do is to create a culture of understanding that the people get what's going on. The worse they are, the better. The government's always be counted on to be stupid and bad and mean, and over-aggressive. And you can't speak, and you're not allowed to. They already know what's going to happen. What do they give a crap if you get up there and bitch and Shelton throws the camera in their face? No. Appearance of support. It's always the appearance of just DeConcini's head. Okay? You know, my kids grew up going to these things. We go run home and watch the news, and they grew up seeing that's not what happened. Oh, there's a master's degree right there for you. So, I have seen this develop over, and I tell you, my first exposure to it was the Breakfast Club. Guys came and warned us 15 years ago of exactly what was going to happen, how, and why. We could have an impact on this. Is it going to be how they vote? I don't give a crap. Hell, they vote and do and we rule and people are 10 times more pissed off afterward. I win. You have no idea what my goal is. Well, some of you may. It is a culture of understanding of you are the boss of you. None of this thing, I get some sanction, from somebody like my boss. I'm the boss, I don't give a crap how you voted. See my point? So we're going to go ahead and try and highlight this as an educational opportunity. They already understand. They go, yeah, no, we're going to advocate for, we're going to learn, we're going to grow up into and get, whatever, we're just going to go over here and grow and do our anything. Let them arrest us for having, a watermelon in a front planter by my door. They, haul me away with the video cameras up and they beat me with rubber hoses and tased me because I had a pumpkin. You think I'm kidding? That's exactly what's going to happen. That's what's been happening. I sent to Andrea to give her an idea. I go, let me show you. It's already happening. Sedgwick, Maine, I think it is, or
Yeah, they have it.
and some other towns in the east.
We actually can do something about this. This is the one area that we can go in and make them write ordinances to guarantee.
Well, see, my thing is they keep doing the ordinance, but the charter gives them the power to do it anyway. I would say you go in the city charter, fine. You want to have your city plan? Fine. Paragraph C says, nothing in your city plan will ever limit the ability of an individual to do whatever the heck they want with their property. Have a nice day. Damn it, that was the whole point of the whole thing. I know. That's why you don't want it. That's why that's the initiative. That's why you can fight it. Okay? So this is the kind of fun that we're going to have with this and why. And I just want you to understand, it's a cultural thing. I'm not about winning some votes. If that was my goal, I already lost before I started. My goal is for the people to understand how do you recognize. That's what the Declaration of Independence shows. Declare your independence, Ernest Hancock. Why? Because the Declaration of Independence says what? When is it? How do you recognize a good government? Defense of individual rights. When it doesn't do that, alter or abolish. Right duty. Right? Right? So I'm for the abolish part. They go, Ernie, you're such an animal. What we got now? I mean, that's my choice. None of this. I vote none. Okay? So this is where we're going and try to help with this. Yeah, Shelton, you had something you want to say?
I was just saying one of the things that kind of like made him speechless is I go, why are we even having this meeting? All this shit's already pre-planned. You've already implemented it, and you're just explaining to the people what the hell you're going to do. This shit's already done, dude. I said, stop the theater. And he just goes, he was speechless because he didn't know what to say because he knew I was right. This shit is already done and it's already been implemented 2 years ago.
You're not supposed to be bright enough to figure that out.
The other thing is just keep nagging him. How much does that cost? How much does this going to cost?
Oh, they want the more it costs, the better, and they're one that costs a lot.
Can you tell me how much you
they had the light rail people there, the representatives for them. You guys can steal some more properties. And they were getting all offended about it because I kept saying steal.
Okay, let me tell you, there's a gentleman named, doesn't matter his name, he works for Intel, and part of his job, he got sucked into the United Way thermometer donation of something or whatever, and they had an event at the Ritz-Carlton a few years ago, and he invited me. He says, Ernie, you want to come to this one? Okay, I'm like, why do I? Just come, you be my guest, don't worry about it. It was like rail guy was speaking, okay? Ritz-Carlton hotel, nice big luxury fundraising for something else and everything, and for some reason he gets to speak, and this is what he was saying. Oh man, the economy took a dump and all their plans kind of put on the back burner and they're not going to be able to just, have a bunch of land to take and do and all that kind of stuff, but don't worry about it. We'll get to it later. And they're going, oh, we got a Scottsdale and a light rail, we got contractors and developers, and we got money to be made and it's going to happen. I'm the guy to do it and get on board, y'all. Okay? So I knew this was never going to stop. This is all just part of it. So what is the purpose of the government? I mean, at least am I allowed to sustain my life and liberty and pursue to have? Can I pursue my happiness without you bothering me? I'm not bothering anybody else. Can I grow some, whatever? Can I sell a dozen chickens for a silver dime? Can I Bitcoin? I mean, what? No.
No.
So I need to demonstrate that there's a no in there, and we got to keep asking why. Now, as much as you may go railing on against the LDS church, the whole side of my mother's family and my sister or LDS, everything, I'm LDS stuff, man. I get it. But I'm telling you, the individual Mormon community, you present it to them like this, it's about their property and doing what they want, man, they're going to be on your side, I guarantee it.
Lots of them are already on grow chickens and food, and they are.
Yeah,
willing to
Lehi's
go.
all on board.
Yeah, no, this is a good issue. I've been waiting for this to hit, and I'm ready to help, but not politically. I don't give a crap about that. That's a side effect of individuals just saying, leave me alone. And their politics may be take a totally different tack, okay? So they'd be voting from somewhere else. So I'm just like, this is where rubber's meeting the road, because the economy is going to take a dump. There's not a doubt in my mind. That's why we're focusing on the love and producing your own food, taking care of yourself, being nice to your neighbor, trying to bring them in where they're not going to die. Because if you don't, there is going to be mayhem. I think it's going to be, regardless, hopefully not too long of it. But I'm like, the infrastructure, we live in a beautiful paradise. I mean, America, compared to a lot of places, we got it going on. The only thing that we got a problem is we got this monkey on our back. We just got to always have it in our head. We got to strip it from here first. Get rid of the government you keep taking with you all the time. I'll do it better. If I was king, like we are king. You're king of yourself, or peace. I mean, whatever. Wrong thing. Anyway, so my thing. Oh, you're in trouble now. So this is what I want you to understand how we're getting involved in this. We're trying to bring it back to Arizona, a lot of our efforts. Now, we have the Prepperfest AZ, which is the last weekend of the month. The Saturday before that, the 20th, is Cindy Sheehan is coming. Donna's been passing out stuff. We're going to have a party. Everybody's, when's the spring party? When are you going to start having a party? It's getting nice. When are you going to have a party? Okay, well, it's Saturday the 20th. Charles Goyette and I are going to, we've known Cindy Sheehan since before she, a lot of people don't know, as much as progressive and liberal and all this stuff you think she is, anti-war kind of thing, she would write a lot on Lew Rockwell. She understood libertarian philosophy. She just chooses to voluntarily associate with socialists. I would be on my hippie commune. Peace. I don't care. As long as you don't put a gun to my head and pay for it, I don't give a crap what you do. It's called families, man. Knock yourself out.
Ernie, the Silver Circle movie, is that just one night only on the 11th?
Yeah, but we're going to talk about that after I finish with Cindy. So then we have, Cindy is coming. We're going to encourage her to make sure that she keeps continuing this tour de peace, because we know that the war movement is gone. Where is it? What happened? And if she's willing to do this, fine, knock yourself out. We're going to try and raise $500, I don't know, $10, $15 a person to come, whatever, and we'll provide food and everything. But we're going to try and get at least $500 for her, just to, gas money or whatever. But she's doing a bike. So she's coming here. We're going to have some fun with her on the 20th. It'll be interesting. You'll hear from Charles Goyette. We'll have a stage there and so on, and most of it's just going to be eating and drinking and chilling out. So you guys are welcome to that.
Did you mean the anti-war movement is gone, or the war movement is gone?
The anti-war movement is gone. No, the war movement they're drum banging all the time, they got North Korea. So, now the Silver Circle, we have stuff to pass out now. Donna, go ahead and put these out. So, are they back there? There's flyers, there's some posters. What he's holding there is a poster that you can put in business windows. So we've had some we've been distributing around. Everybody take one of these flyers or something just to kind of let people know. This is it's more than a movie. It's a movement. To understand this next generation, they are not about Federal Reserve and money doing whatever. They understand the future. They are going to replace the Federal Reserve with nothing. It's just going to be value. It's going to be coin de la realm of whatever. So this is already happening in a lot of states. Even here in Arizona, they had gold, silver, and copper tender could be used in the legislation they put, and then it makes it to the speaker or the president of the Senate, and they pocket veto, and it's just a game they play, and I don't give a crap about them. Screw them. They are doing this as a result of the people understanding this stuff. They're trying to jump in front of a parade. The parade is already big, giant in the streets, kind of up here. So I see what's coming. Now, it's, what day is it? Is it Thursday? Thursday the 11th. So we want to get a big crowd. It's just one showing, one time, a private party doing it. If it takes off, fine. Then, of course, they'll be selling DVDs. But I tell you where they go. They go to the Comic-Cons. They go to the comic book conventions and so on. And they all dress and they have what they call, Silver Circle Rebels. And they got their own line of clothes and costumes and all. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a movement. And it's going to be happening all around you. And those of you over 40 or over 30, you're going to go, where did this come from? What happened? Well, go to this and you'll understand. I mean, it's the evolution. Nobody sees that stuff coming because they don't understand it. Understand it. Don't get caught blindsided by this stuff. It is a cultural thing, not looking to some elected official to pass some ordinance to say that they've allowed you to be freer. Just that mindset you already lost before you started. Okay, anything else by anybody?
Ernie,
Yeah.
just a tangential matter. Some of us old fogies that watch what we call the regular news in the old days, we see David Stockman's on TV. David Stockman's on TV promoting his book, and he is saying some of the same things that you're saying about Empire America and how the world is literally killing, and it's only the young people coming up that are starting to realize it.
Stockton is, what was his comptroller?
He was
or something?
director of Reagan's Office of Management and Budget.
Yeah, so he was like the big guy kind of doing, we see the money going, we're screwed. And he was screaming this. Charles was big on having him on the show when we were doing the show together. And he was in the Reagan administration. I think he also did something else too. But he was very clear on how certain it was that the U.S. economy was going down. Well, from a different perspective, and there are a bunch of other people that say the same stuff for the same reasons too. This is not, in my opinion, an if thing. It's a when thing. And when they took the bank accounts in Cyprus, they made it very clear and stated, if we need it, we take it, get over it. So I'm going, okay. Yeah, Greg.
Ernie, supposedly in 2011 at a G20 meeting, it was decided that they would do the bail-in like they did in Cyprus in every G20 country, which includes us, Canada, the UK.
Do the what?
The bail-in, basically where they take the money of the depositors who have money above the limits of, let's say, the FDIC. Okay, but you're not going to get any of that money. It's just going to disappear.
Yeah, it's I get all technical and why and who said what and everything, but the bottom line is this. Get your money out of the banks. You got your 401k, pension fund, IRA, daylight, whatever. They're going, y'all in, everybody all in, it's ours now. Now, how long have we been hearing at the Breakfast Club that they were screaming 2012 that the Social Security payments that are going into the government were going to be exceeded by the money being taken out by people retiring? How many have been hearing that forever? Okay? 2012 was the year. They wanted to stretch it out to 2012. They kept spending it all. It's not there. It didn't get put into the trust fund. They got an IOU, they spent it. So what happened was they knew that there was going to be a point at which they couldn't pay it. The money wasn't there. Not enough was coming in. They're screwed. So what do? They just keep borrowing it. They keep, the Federal Reserve keeps buying our debt. It keeps inflating the currency. It keeps getting really, really, really bad. All of a sudden, the other countries, China, the BRICS, like Russia, Britain, Japan, everybody starts trading in their own currencies or different basket currencies and abandoning the dollar. Dollar starts flooding back in, hyperinflation, we're screwed. I mean, it's really that simple. I know blah, 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 blah. Bottom line, it's not an if thing, it's an already happened thing. There is nothing you can do to stop it. So, how do you prepare for it? Number one, can I eat? Can I grow in my own? Can I, because, the technology is, it's not that big. You know what electricity is worth? It's worth me getting my butt out there and making it, I can tell you that. I'm on my lights are on. Sucks to be y'all. Of course, you're a big giant neon flashing light, come get my whatever, But So this is why we have to love our neighbor. You see my point, my reasoning? Because if we don't do that, they're coming anyway. Now, that's why you have all these zombie apocalypse movies coming out. You know, and then you have VHS being sold targets that have women holding babies and shooting them in cribs behind them and so on, so that, yeah, no, don't be afraid, blow away mom with her
No
kid.
child left behind.
Yeah. No child left behind. That's good. Holy crap, man, I'm so ripping that off. I got to remember that one. I got it. So I'm not afraid. You know, this fear that they're doing, yes, of course. I mean, we have on Freedom's Phoenix, I was on, and they're going on about Second Amendment stuff. And they're going, Ernie, don't you know about the Second Amendment and this, and they're taking and doing and getting, and I'm going, yeah, of course they are. I go, that means they're desperate. This means they're afraid. It just means, you know, I get it. So why are you afraid? You know, of course Chucky Schumer's going to get up there and tell you how they need to, you know, whatever. I go, you know, that's what they always do. But it's not about the guns. They're not going to be able to take the guns. They just want to get a list, a database of the people that have the guns. So what we do is we created Second Amendment is for Everyone website. You want to see all the stuff that they're doing. You go to Safe List here, and you can see all the stories about how they're going to whatever. Okay? But I don't care. I'm not afraid. Because I know where the line is. There's a vast majority of the people, and there's those that want to rule them. I don't waste time, like a lot of people, trying to select who these people are, encourage them, influence them, pressure them, whatever, and then they'll see some kind of parade that's, you know, they'll jump in front of it or whatever. I don't care about them. They are a side effect of what the people want. Everything that we've done, Freedom's Phoenix, Declare Independence Radio Show, the e-zine, the new newsletter that's coming, all this, all our activism, all for the past 20-something years, Don and I have done this, a lot of our friends and people here, we've been doing this so that we could change the minds or make it clear to you. All that other stuff is a side effect and a mop-up operation later. Oh yeah, I won the ammunition that last time. Everybody goes, yeah, did he write his name on all the
Yeah, he did.
You know, and I'm like, as far as you.
That's mine.
Okay, this is for Area 51 parking permit. 3405. 3405.
Anybody?
All right, we'll try another one.
They're not claiming it.
3402.
Oh, right here.
Hey, just a guy that can use it.
He's already got her with that.
He's got employee parking.
He's got employee parking.
Okay, the next two here are for books in the back here, three, I guess. And it's 3426.
All right, we got a winner.
3426. Back in the corner, some books, first choice. Thank you. Second choice in the books, 3438. 3438. 3438, going, gone. Try it once more. Four, 3-0. 3430.
Yeah, we got a
The
winner.
man in the black shirt over here. Okay, one more, last chance for the book. $3399. 3399. Okay, very good. We have fun today?
Yeah.
Hey. We'll come back next month, first Saturday of the month, and have some more fun. See you guys then.
Next month is supposed to be Mark Becker. And I said, in blood, man. You would better freaking quit. So he says he's going to be here. He's going to give you all one for next month.
Don't forget, April the 19th is the 20th anniversary of Waco. Please remember.
Any of you folks got surplus books, I can use some for my care.
Yeah, I need to.
The way I work the books, we have them for the drawing. And I will sell them for a $2 donation or whatever you want to donate, which helps me pay for the tickets and various other laws.
I have a meetup.
Thank you.